You ever have those days where you just feel lazy, unmotivated, kind of stuck? Well, what if I told you it's maybe not even your fault? We're about to dive into some really powerful ideas from Wim Hof about how you can actually reclaim control over your own mind. Seriously, let's get into it. So let's kick things off with a pretty wild idea. Wim Hof's whole argument is that our modern, super comfortable world has, well, cut us off from our own natural strength. Yeah, we've built this world to keep us safe and cozy, but he's basically saying it's also making us weak.
Okay, so to really wrap our heads around this, we've got to look at the problem he's pointing to. He calls it the comfortable trap of modern life, and it all starts with this: fundamental imbalance inside our own brains. Think about it. We are living almost entirely in our thinking brain. You know, the part that's always worrying, planning, analyzing everything. And why is that? Well, because our whole world is controlled for us. The thermostat handles the temperature, the supermarket has all the food we could ever want, and all that comfort leaves our deeper, more instinctual survival brain, the brainstem, with nothing to do. It's just dormant. And get this, the price we pay for having this thinking brain on overdrive is just huge. It is constantly sucking up 25% of our body's entire blood flow and energy, just to keep that inner monologue, that constant chatter, going.
So what happens when a real threat shows up? I'm not talking about a lion. I mean modern stuff, like inflammation, anxiety, depression. Suddenly, we've lost the connection to our own deep systems, the very parts of our brain that were built to handle stress. We're basically left trying to think our way out of a problem that's happening in our own biology. It just doesn't work.
But here's the thing, it doesn't have to be this way. What if there was a way to actually rebuild that connection? To take back direct control over how you feel inside? Well, this is exactly where Wim Hof's whole idea of willpower comes into play.
Okay, so forget everything you've ever been told about willpower. Seriously, Wim Hof looks at it completely differently. It's not some vague feeling or a desire you have to muster up. He says it's a tangible, trainable pathway, a neurological muscle that you can literally strengthen.
And he is so clear on this point. This isn't just about thinking positive or some kind of placebo effect. No way. Wim Hof insists that you can forge a real, physical connection inside your brain just by using focused intention.
So how does this actually work? Well, you can think of it like a three-step process. First, it starts with your conscious will, right? Up in the prefrontal cortex, you make a decision. Second, that focused decision starts to create a neural connection, like forging a new path. And third, that path leads directly to the brainstem, your survival center, which gives you access to all these automatic processes we used to think were completely out of our control.
Okay, that's cool and all, but if willpower really is a muscle, that brings up the obvious question: how do you train it? Like, what's the mental gym for this?
The answer, according to Wim, is to deliberately, intentionally choose discomfort. And his number one tool for that? The cold. He says it's merciless, which means it doesn't care about your excuses or how you're feeling. But it's also righteous, because it gives you this direct, honest-to-goodness path right back to your own inner power.
And this is the part where everyone goes, wait, what? Right? Why on earth would anyone willingly put themselves through something so intensely uncomfortable? It seems completely backwards.
Well, here's the genius of it. That intense physical stress from the cold, it's like flipping a switch. It instantly silences that non-stop noisy chatter from your thinking mind. All of a sudden, your brain can't be worrying about the mortgage or that email you have to send, because your body is basically screaming one simple command: survive. And that's what forces those deeper, way more powerful parts of your brain to wake up and take over.
And that, right there, is the entire point. The ultimate goal is to learn how to consciously step outside the limits of that thinking mind and start tapping into this incredible power that you already have. You know, this whole journey completely flips our idea of strength on its head. We're taught that being strong is about being aggressive, right? Competition, hitting others with your elbows to get what you want. Wim Hof says, no, true strength is the total opposite. It's about connection. It's helping each other. It's being in harmony with nature, and it's acting from a place of love. So, what's the payoff for all this? Well, you actually regain the ability to control your own mood and your own body without any pills or needing something from the outside. You get to tap into this deep sense of peace and power. You connect with what he calls true love and strength, and you start to live in harmony with the world around you. Pretty amazing, right?
So in the end, this is so much more than just a breathing technique or a cold plunge. It's really an invitation. It's a challenge from him to you to have the courage to face what you're afraid of, to step way outside your comfort zone and to finally discover the massive potential that's just been lying dormant inside you this whole time.
And that leads us to the final question, one I want you to really think about. Now that you've seen this path, from being disconnected and feeling stuck to being re-empowered and in control, what power do you think is just waiting to be unlocked inside of you?